feel like you've now realized like you really want and need in a partner moving forward?
I want to feel like they got me, and that like I can have like a bad day or go through something difficult, and like they'll pick me up and like kind of like help me get through it and like carry me through it. But like when I was talking to my therapist about it, she was like, "Oh, like do you feel like that's something lacking in your life right now? Like do you feel like unsupported and unable to like get yourself through hard moments?" And I was like, literally the opposite. Like I feel like I have very deep fulfilling friendships I can lean on if I need to. I end my days and I feel strong and confident and like secure in what I need to work through and get through, and like that I can handle it and I'm not like overwhelmed and like I'm not lonely, which I think I'm really happy that something that I want isn't like a need I'm trying to fill. Like it's not like a deficit in my life that like I'm trying to like find a person to fulfill. It's just like I just like want like partnership.
You said that to me the other day when we were in the car, and I thought it was so profound, and I want to keep talking about this a little bit for the daddying, because you were like, every time my therapist was challenging me, like, oh, are you wanting that because of X? Like, I feel like you've gotten so good being alone. And I feel like you've always been a relationship girl, so I'm so proud of you right now. Like, I've never really, really, really seen you just like single Lauren, like, for this long in a strong way, where
Yeah.
you're like, ooh, I'm a little like, ooh, I wonder what she's gonna do. You're like, you've never been, I feel like, happier, and you don't have a partner.
I was just joking. I was like, I've never been happier and I've never been hotter.
No, literally. No, it's so true. You've never been happier. You've never been hotter. You just turned 30. You're thriving. And I feel like something that it's obvious is like for the daddy gang, like we have both been at points in our life where we're both single and we aren't that good at being alone.
Yeah.
And so we're like chasing after something. Like tell me if you're okay with me saying this, but I think something that you had talked to me about that was like I think very relatable was like this was the first relationship that you were like I actually felt like I was like this person like genuinely loved me and like I was genuinely in love, so it's hard to walk away from that.
That was like I had a relationship before, but it was like it was like a college relationship that became post college, and like that was the first time I was deeply in love. Like I was in love with this person.
Yes. And I remember it was so sad because I remember you saying to me, Lauren, you were like, I just like I feel like I've just like lost so many people in my life that like I love. So like I don't want to. What do I my innate feeling is to hold on to this person because how am I gonna just like?
Oh, I was so like this is it. Like I had never been in love before, and I had never felt that, and I was like, oh, like this is it. Like this is the feeling that like you fight for, and like you go to like the end of like the earth for, and like I know that's not the case.
Well, now you know. Once you really have that like first like adult relationship of love. I'm not talking about like we've all been in love hopefully before, but when you were talking about like love of like oh I could see a future with this person, then you really start to realize, which I think I'm so happy. I feel like we were able to have a lot of conversations with like me, you, and Matt because I've learned so much being in my first year of marriage that I felt like you started to kind of like ask Matt and I questions throughout this.
Matt has a lot of good experiences and advice.
He does, and I feel like his advice a lot was like there's so much more to a marriage than love. Yeah. Like if anything, that's like the easiest part of it.
Yes, I was talking about that in therapy too, of like I think I like thought that like love was so hard to like come by and it was so rare. But like what is more rare is having that love and then like the compatibility aspect of like just like what you want and need out of life is also going to match up because like that's the hard part.
Morals, values, compatibility, what you want as a family, what like literally
career-wise, like how
career, money, socioeconomic, where you're gonna live, how you interact with your in-laws, what you want to, how you want to raise your kids, like where you want them to go to school, all of that is like shit that I think people don't talk about it maybe enough, where it's like you have to have these fucking conversations, I genuinely believe, before you get married and before
Mhm.
you get engaged. And I think a lot of times it's like people are feeling in love and then they're excited and they're moving in, and then you think once you get married then like you like start to do all this. It's like no, 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 Daddy Yang, you need to figure it out before, because I think again you watched it with yourself. Is like you were in love, that was down,
Mhm.
but then I think you have a lot of friends around you who are going through like whether they just got married or their first year of marriage or their second year of marriage, and so you're watching all of us kind of like
Oh, I
do
don't.
this dance.
My like all of my I have like say like my like five closest girlfriends, like now they are all married and
Yep.
engaged.
And do you, to anyone that is the single friend in a dynamic like that, like can you talk about how you don't feel pressured by people just by seeing your friends at one stage of their life? Like, how are you maintaining just like confidence to not feel like, oh, well, I'm the only one, so I have to hurry up and do it? Like, how are you feeling like you're managing that? Because you could, I don't know if I'm saying that right. Like, I feel like you're doing such a good job of just being like, and I'm so happy for all of you, and I'm happy for myself, and I'm good on my, like, what I'm doing.
Um, the easy answer, and then like I'll give like
Yeah.
the deeper answer. Like I have a few like newer friendships that like I've been investing more time into because they are single,
Yeah.
and I do think it's important to like it's just helpful to like have people who are like, oh, like everyone's going on a date night tonight, like let's do this, or like everyone's kind of tired, but like I don't want to sit at home alone like all weekend. Like let's at least like go out and like
Yeah.
get a drink and like be social for like a minute. So like I think it is like really helpful to like
Have single
have
friends.
single friends when you're single. And then something else we were talking about recently, kind of related to like how am I not feeling pressure and comparison and like left behind when all of my friends are very much in like a different life stage than me. Like being single like is the minority of like of my close friends right now. Because like I truly feel like very zen at this current moment and not pressured and not rushed. But when I first got out of my relationship, like the first this is kind of like a new this zenness is kind of like really within like the past like month and a half ish.
That's nice to hear, because I'm sure girls are like going out of a breakup being like, bitch, I'm on my fourth month and I'm still struggling.
Yeah, it's like a very new like this level of like
Calmness.
calmness
Yeah.
is like kind of new. When I first got out of the relationship, I knew for a fact, like, I absolutely need to be single. I need to, like, reflect on stuff. I need to not rush into anything. Like, I need to have me time. Like, I knew that, but I didn't feel that.
Right.
I was like, I would be like, I need to be single. But, like, in the back of my mind, I'd be like, oh, fuck, like, the clock's kind of ticking. Like, am I dragging my feet? I was doing, like, the numbers game where I was like, oh, so I'm 30 now. If I like take a year to be single, I'll start dating someone maybe at 31. I don't want to rush into an engagement, so like maybe I'll get engaged at 33, married at 34. Am I gonna immediately have a kid then a year into marriage at 35? And then like I was like, oh my god, like I'm having a kid at 35.
Right.
And like so I started playing that game, and like that was like kind of like suffocating and like consuming. I was so close to like locking in like this timeline that like I was seeing. Like we were just saying, I was like about to get engaged, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna get engaged at 30. I'm gonna like, and I had that kind of
Like it was all laid out in your
yeah,
head.
it was kind of like clicking into like step, and it was like although there were things that weren't right and that I wasn't sure about and that were causing me stress, kind of seeing my life kind of start to like unfold and like where it was going in front of me was comforting and
Yeah.
like this sense of security and safety. So like it took a moment to like shed that.
Right, because I feel like that's something we should talk about too. Of like, I've done it before, a previous relationship prior to Matt. Like, daddy gang, we've all been there, or you're currently in it, where you see the path, you see the future, and it is so comforting knowing you can see like what your timeline
I like
is.
I
You
was
see
at
it.
the point where I was like, oh, I can look 5 years
Yes.
ahead and I can see where my life is going.
And sometimes having the guy, it makes you feel like even though I have these reservations, I'm okay with looking past it because I can't give all this up. I can't give this timeline up. Like, I'm right here. I'm like, right, I'm
Like you
so
don't like.
close.
I was like, oh, I'm on like the last lap. Like I'm so close to the finish line. Like you don't throw in the towel like right when before you're about to cross the finish
Yes.
line.
And I remember I said to Lauren when she was like, I feel like I was like right about to hit the finish line. I was like, babe, you have not, you are literally putting on your fucking outfit and your gear. You're not even in the race yet. Like, I know that sounds cheesy, but it's so true. It's like,
Yeah.
if you feel like you're just about to get there, you're about to get the engagement, you're about to, it's like, no, 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 no. You haven't even started the fucking marathon yet. You are literally just putting on the clothes to see if they fucking fit. Does the uniform look good? Does it fit? How does it feel? Okay, then when you start marriage, that's when the fucking race begins.
Mhm.
And I feel like, or again, even if it's not marriage for certain people, whether it's you want to have a kid or whether you decide to be life partners, but for you, I feel like that's such a relatable feeling to women listening of you don't want to disrupt what you feel like you've spent so much time building, and you're willing to potentially look past these problems because holistically it's really starting to shape out.
Mhm.
And the problem is what I've always said on this show, you guys, that my mom had always told me from a young age was like, anything that bothers you in your relationship will get 10 times worse when you're married. Anything that bothers you in your relationship will get 10 times worse when you're married. And that is disorienting
Yeah.
and hard to hear because I think you and I had a lot of conversations of like, your ex is a good guy.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely. It's just compatibility wise, we started to talk about things where it was like,
It wasn't the right person for
yeah.
me.
And we would be like, no, no, Lauren, like, you're saying this and this is how it's making you feel. But like,
Which I think was like another hard layer. Like nothing was like glaring. Like
yeah.
there was no moment of like, oh shit, like that was so bad. You have
Yes.
to end it.
It was just like these micro things that you kept, you know what it was a lot of too, which is people listening, you may have this where you're just like, am I okay with this?
Yeah.
Am I okay with compromising? And when is it not compromising and it's like actually kind of giving up?
Something that's important to me or something I did think I want in life, but like, is that superficial to want that?
I think when you really got to the point of knowing is when you were laying it out and speaking to your friends a bunch, and it was like you were literally starting to compromise on every single thing in your life. And
Mhm.
everything, and it wasn't even compromise, it was just like,
This isn't the life I saw for myself.
yeah, you would say it, but it was like a story you were telling
Yeah.
yourself. And then when you, and this is where daddy gang, like, finding friends to make sure that who won't judge you but can talk with it, because I've been in the scenario too where I would go to Lauren when I was going through a breakup being like, I'm so devastated, but you kept me on track to be like, but that's not what you want. I feel like when you went through this, we did the same thing where it was like, this is hard that you're giving all of this up, but how about you reframe it and think, can you imagine if you went through with it just because it felt like you were so close to the finish line, then you marry this guy and you have kids, and every problem that you have.
I was gonna like look up and be like, how is this my life?
Right, like, I didn't want any of this.
Yeah.
I don't agree with the way that we're doing this and this and this and this, but I wanted to just get the ring and get the marriage. And I think that's a really, really understandably relatable thing that women can feel. Like, I remember dating a guy that was so like financially stable at a time where I really wasn't.
Mhm.
And it became, and I think also like growing up and not being like having my parents have like all this money, even though being around friends that had it, I definitely like wanted that, like, and
Mhm.
so it was attractive to me to have like financial security. And so I was completely avoiding a lot of things that upset me or made me feel not good about myself because of this main thing that I thought, it's okay, I can look past these things because I feel safe with him. But it's like, but why do you feel safe with him? You don't feel like he's actually being like faithful to you. It's because of the financial stability. And while that is a huge thing when you think about certain aspects, that doesn't mean fucking shit if you
Yeah.
don't have an actual good relationship. Money is fucking great, but it's not fucking great if you're getting cheated on or you're getting fucking emotionally abused or whatever it be. So I think a huge lesson for the daddy gang that we can take from what you're talking about is like, you felt in your gut, compatibility wise, you were off in moments, but you kept going forward because you really also didn't want to give up the good parts.
Yeah, that there was love there, that it was all kind of falling into place and like making sense. And like I remember saying like in one of my like therapies I was having before like ending the relationship, I was like, I feel like I'm about to blow up my life. And she was like, you are. But like that's one portion of your life. Like you still have all of your friendships, you still have your career, you're still going to be you.
That's what's I think so crazy. I remember that because we talked about that after that session you had. It was like, yeah, I guess you could say you're blowing up your life. Not really. You're just ending something that was going to bring you in one direction, but it's a portion, and everything else is going to stay the same. I remember saying that to you. Remember, I was like,
Yeah.
you're going to go to work on Monday, then you're going to go to drinks with your friends that night. Like, everything is kind of the same, but then a huge chunk will be missing. And so it's really, really terrifying as women because we don't have the flexibility like men do to just keep it fucking moving. Oh, that one didn't work out. I can go over here. Like they have a different level of privilege, and while that is true, I really truly believe that like staying in something just to appease one other aspect of your life that you're looking for is really going to come and bite you in the ass. So I also think being easier on yourselves if things aren't working, daddy gang, recognizing that sometimes neither of you are bad people. It's just, it quite literally is like your traumas and your strong suits and your issues and your things that you bring to the table that are good and bad. Sometimes they just don't fucking work with someone. And instead of trying so hard to force it, while yes, a relationship is work, at some point you have to look at yourself. And I genuinely believe for you, Lauren, like, I'm so happy that you lived with him. I'm so happy that you went all the way to the point of seeing yourself in a dress with a ring, all of it. Because now we talk about this a lot of like, I can't wait to see the person that you meet next because you are a better person because of that past relationship.
Oh,
like thank
there's
God
things,
you met him.
And like there's things that my therapist used to say, every person you date gets you one step closer to the person you're supposed to marry. And like there's things that I would have no idea that I did not like and that I definitely need.
Yeah.
And that like trigger me. And
yeah.
I feel like I just like know myself a lot more now.
And so technically though, think about this, daddy gang, if we're doing the fucking math, although maybe you would be engaged right now and planning a wedding, we have talked about like now knowing how much there was breaking down, there's a chance either one, you would have been in a really pretty unfulfilling, unhappy marriage, which could have ended in divorce. Now you're still so much closer though to just pure happiness of finding your person. And I think that should hold a lot of hope in a lot of people's minds if you're about to end something or this episode is helping you think about reevaluating, do you want to take that next step? Well, yes, the next step seems super straightforward and easy. If you're not 100% in knowing that's the right next step, you're then going to have to take a lot of back steps once you go forward because it's going to be like, well, fuck, this isn't working. Don't force something that's not there. Everyone's timelines, while yes, it can be straightforward, a lot of times with timelines, they're just going to like fuck you into making like more rushed decisions where it's like, if you didn't have this in your head and if we didn't have a time clock, like, would you make that decision?
I think that has been like the timeline and the time clock and the biological clock in children has been, and like really sitting and thinking like about that aspect has been one of the things, the most freeing aspects for me of like, I truly feel like so, I've never felt more zen or peaceful in my entire life and calm and like not rushed and like awake and confident and like sure. And I think it's because I've been having really honest conversations with myself about what was really fueling that like urgency and that rush and that countdown, and it's children and motherhood. And if you would have asked me 6 months ago, a year ago, my whole life, I would have been like, no doubt I'm having children, like no question I'm having children. And I don't feel that way anymore. And it's a little surprising, but not sad, if anything, almost freeing. I think I was really just operating from that place of it's just what you do. Like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna have children.
Right, like duh, like I have to, like.
But like when I like really think about it, I'm like loving this time period of like feeling like I am the main focus in my life, like truly just me, and like what do I want and what makes me happy, and like everything is revolving like around
you,
me, and like I get to be selfish, and like my entire life, like I from like seventh grade was like put in positions that were like pretty crazy of like taking care of my family emotionally, financially, until like not too long ago, and like I'm like it's my time.
Yes.
And it's like my turn.
Yes.
And like if a child fits into that at some point, like that's great and beautiful, and like I know I'd be a great mother. I might have a kid at 40.
Yes.
I might not have a kid.
And that's
And it's like it was like pretty like wild to say that out loud, cuz like I just wouldn't have
thought it. And yet here you are. And I feel like, again, had you gone down that path with that ex-boyfriend, you wouldn't have probably even had a chance to recognize that because of just this timeline.
That's what you and Matt were talking about. When you're in something that you're unsure, or maybe it was me and you and Matt, you chase the next milestone, because that like puts like
it gives you something to look forward to
and focus on,
to distract from the problems in the relationships. Like, but we're gonna get engaged, and then everything's gonna get better,
and then we're gonna get married,
and let's focus on the wedding. Yeah. And then all the wedding,
and then
everything's good.
Let's start planning for the kid.
And then once you got the kid, we're like, oh, we're gonna, and then it's all these distractions and these milestones, and everything's good for a little bit, and then once you hit that, there's a come down, and then you're like, well, what the fuck is next? And you've seen those relationships with people. I think it's so beautiful when you said this to me the other day, and I was like emotional for you, because I feel like we have so many things that we're just taught from a young age as women, and no one really tells us. But by the way, you can do it completely different. You don't have to do that. We don't have to do what our moms did. And I feel like this is such a beautiful place in your life that you're in. Like, you're really, really in control right now and in tune with what you want. And thank God you listened to yourself when you were in something that would have been easy to move forward with, but difficult in the long run. It's like the short-term reward. Really, you have to think about the long term. And now, the fact that you're able to realize all these things about yourself, I'm just so happy for you. And I really hope people listening can find their version of what you and I are both going through right now. Because I think we're both at a period where we're really having to look at ourselves, and as women we don't feel comfortable
kind of like silencing like the noise. Like, in this moment, like what do I want?
And if you don't know, that's your first step, that you need to spend some more alone time with yourself. If you're in a relationship, that still means you should be spending alone time and checking in with yourself. But you guys, Lauren and I this summer
are aligned.
I'm doing a huge fucking victory lap and enjoying my fucking time being a newlywed, and Lauren is fucking single and she's going to have a good summer, and so
I'm just celebrating myself.
Yes. And so the two of us, I feel like it's this beautiful, gonna be a great fucking summer of us just like going.
We have a lot of fun plans.
You guys, we have so many fun plans that I don't want to fully tell you about, because it will be fun to roll, like, for you guys,
roll out our social
calendar for you guys. But also, more importantly, I think Lauren and I will need to come back on this couch soon, because there's a couple of things that maybe you'll find out soon.
That couple announcements coming.
Yeah, that you and I haven't really ever talked about, that I think will definitely
catch people by surprise.
Yeah, I think the daddy gang is gonna be like shocked, but also like
oh, it all makes sense now.
Yeah. So that's all good things are coming this summer. But thank you for sharing all of this, and because I do really think like so much of what you are going through right now and always is like so relatable, and I feel like a lot of people really appreciate whenever you come and sit down. So thank you, Lauren. This was a fucking wholesome ass episode.
Yeah.
Daddy gang, we love you. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you fuckers next Wednesday. Goodbye.